Hey guys, welcome to StrongCast. This is Neil Toussaint. I'm joined by Sean Lange. What's up, Sean?
Hey guys.
As you guys know, the goal of the StrongCast is to improve the tricking athlete's experience through talking about performance and longevity. So that's what we're going to do today. Sean, if you could just tell the viewers who you are and what it is that you do.
Hey guys, I'm Sean Lang. I've been tricking for about 17 years since prior 2004.
OG.
Currently, right now, I am a professional chef for the Army.
That is so cool, man. Where do you work in the Army, if you can say that?
So currently, currently, I have been nominated for a 3-year tour to work as a chef at the Pentagon.
That is so sick. That is really cool, man. Um, yeah, so like that's a lot of what I wanted to talk to you about today. Like how does I guess we could start with obviously since you're a chef and you're a very high level chef, you're working for the Army, for the Pentagon. You have a passion for food and nutrition and everything. So where does that come from? Where does food fit into your life as far as performance, longevity, and like just the importance you place on it?
Yeah, so I became really passionate about food ever since I can remember since I was a kid. My grandmother had a lot of influence on me, and being that I grew up in South Florida, a lot of people don't realize South Florida is literally a mecca of different cultures and cuisines. I grew up with Indian friends, Russian friends, Jewish, there's Cubans, there's Mexicans, there's Chinese,
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
Koreans. So I was just immersed in the environment where literally blocks from my house, I could eat a Cuban sandwich and then go eat Chinese, authentic Chinese food to Indian, to
Yeah.
Thai. So growing up, I've always had a diverse palette and interest in food.
Nice.
And then when I became a collegiate athlete, I realized, hey, food will play a big part in how we perform. Mind you, my coach at the time, he was like, "Hey, you don't need to worry about it because you run and you're doing all this stuff." And honestly, I disagreed with my coach at the time because I felt like nutrition should and can have a big impact on how you
Oh yeah.
perform.
Totally.
Um, but then again, like I said, the college tour for me was short lived, and then after that, I came back home for 2 years, and then discovered, hey, I want to do cooking full time. And then I got a degree, and then that's when during that process I started to trick. I was like, hey, why not combine my passion for tricking in food?
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing a lot of research through my culinary school and finding out that hey, these two can go hand in hand. The sport needs
Hmm.
an outlet or somewhere where people can go to find, hey, look, tricking and food and nutrition play hand in hand. So that's why I've been, for these many years, been studying nutrition through culinary and in nutrition. So,
Dude, that's sick. Like, what did you do as a collegiate athlete? Like, what sport did you play?
so I was on a track scholarship for the University of Kentucky. My events were the 100, 200, and 4x1. In that single year, I was an All American. We made it to nationals, and it was a pretty cool experience. A lot of studying, of course. I actually put partying more over than studies and stuff, so it
Yeah.
didn't end up working out like I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the college experience is really great. And running track at that level meant that you had to perform. And in order to perform, you had, in my opinion, you had to have the proper nutrition. I was eating probably like 4 to 5 meals a day just because of the rigorous amount of exercise that I was doing
Hmm.
required me to constantly be fueled. And with the physical therapist was actually giving us was like supplemental packs. They
Hmm.
would call them like supplement kits. And they would come like with like fiber bars in there, shakes, like extra hydration in there. So that's kind of where I got my starter is as in like wow, I need to have this with me all the time and wanting to improve my performance.
That's so awesome, man. And like that's dope to me as a physical therapist because it doesn't have to be nutritionist, although obviously that's an amazing profession, nothing against that, but like anybody can inspire anybody to eat better and to do healthy for themselves. And then the specifics come with the profession if you need like more specific guidance and stuff, but like the fact that a physical therapist was the person to you that like really inspired you, like, hey, I can have all the healthy tools I need even though I also need convenience, even though I have higher demands for my sport and stuff like that. Like, that's something that a lot of people might not realize. They're just like, hey, I'm too
Right.
busy. That's just something I can't worry about. And they just kind of give up on that aspect. So, like, can you speak to some ways that people can make it easier to consume good food?
Yeah, so I find this topic very common again with people that I interact with on a daily, even the chefs that I work with.
Yeah.
Because even as a chef, sometimes we lack our ability to find that proper nutrition. And even with myself and the busy lifestyle that I've had. But going back to me being single, no kids and stuff like that, it was a little easier for me to find that nutritional balance.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was doing before was I was literally planning out my weekly diet per se.
Yeah.
And then two, being that, if I was in a competitive state, I was really like, Monday, Sunday through Saturday, this is what I'm eating. So like, for example, I was doing my meal prep on Sunday, get a bunch of containers, buy all my groceries that Sunday, get home and start prepping stuff. And so some of the stuff that I would do was getting fresh vegetables. I know it's tough for some people. They don't know how to
Yeah.
maybe break down like, the carrot, the broccoli from the stalk and peel the carrots. I think that's too much work. But at the end of the day, the fresher the ingredients, the more nutrition that's in the ingredients it is for you. I always tell people stay away from the canned food because
No,
canned
yeah.
food is a bunch of filled with a bunch of preservatives and unnecessary stuff. So the fresher you can get is what's more better for you. So and even some of the frozen food is actually not bad. They've gotten a lot better to where it tastes just like it's picked up from the ground.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so like I tell people, if you want to eat better, just take the time to actually think about what you're putting into your body versus just going to the store and just buying whatever because you're hungry.
Yeah.
I never try to shop while I'm hungry because then you end up buying more food than what you actually need.
Yeah.
So yeah, so buy food when you're not hungry. Buy it ahead of time and try to plan out your meals if you have the ability to. But it's important to actually take that time to think about what you want to put into your body.
Totally. And I think that people that are listening to this would be pretty interested in performance and longevity, of course. But there are going to be some people that are just more on the physical side of things, like they just train and then maybe other parts of their lifestyle doesn't necessarily support their training and they're not realizing that. So, so somebody who doesn't want to do this and can't do this and or feels that they can't do this and eats canned food, eats fast food all the time, like what's the first step? Because I know what you're saying, and this is what I do too. I go to the farmer's market, I get all my fresh stuff. But for a complete beginner, like what was like just a couple tips that you can give them? Like somebody just that doesn't want to work on this area of their life.
Yeah, so that's actually funny that you said that because I remember back when I was in South Florida with SoFlo crew, and I'd always try to influence the guys like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I live by this. This is what's working. And it was tough because, like I said, a lot of them were beginners and weren't as trained and vetted as I was
Mm-hmm.
specifically because I'm in the field of food. It was tough for them to try to change the mentality of saying, hey, I should start eating not like this instead of eating certain type of foods. And I remember some of the guys coming to the session with a large Coke and a hamburger and fries. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, are you serious? This is not the way to start out your session. You're gonna be, slobbing around. So for me, what I would do is, just is and you get this from a lot of nutritionists and dietitians that you want to help the people, but you can't force it down their throats. You can't force it in some. You just kind of, it has to be like an approach of like, hey, I know that something could work like this. Maybe you should try it. So what I started doing was during the sessions, I would start bringing some of my meal preps. And I would like bring my, cut up broccoli, some salmon, and some quinoa, something like that. And I would just eat it, and they would be like, "Oh, what is that?" So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is my meal prep." And I try to eat this. I wouldn't eat it right before I session, but I get to the session a little early. Before, we're stretching out, and I'm like, "Hey, this is what I would eat before this session because it's light on my stomach. It provides XYZ nutrition." And they'd be like, "Ooh, okay, that's cool." And then they'll smell it and stuff like that. And then two, I would also introduce juicing, certain type of juices, and I stand big on juicing because it allows your body to absorb the nutrients a lot faster than whole foods. So I started bringing a lot of juices to the sessions. And then I know a lot of beginners, they think that, oh yes, Red Bull, I didn't even know all the energy drinks out there because I don't drink that crap no more.
Yeah.
Because it's full of sugars that are just bad for your body and full of a bunch of chemicals.
Totally.
But yeah, I got away from that stuff. So I would start bringing juices to the sessions. And what the juices do, they allow your body to be energized, and they fuel your body at a quicker rate than the these other fast sodas or whatever you want to call them. So that's what I was doing with the beginners or the people that were just starting out. And I was like, hey, try this instead of trying the energy drinks, because the energy drinks halfway during the session, you're going to crash. These juices were keeping me longer and healthier during my sessions. And people were like, hey, why are you still training so long and so hard? Well, because I changed my diet. I
Yeah.
did what I needed to take care of before the session. And now I'm able to train not only 2-3 hours more than the other person versus the McDonald's and the energy drinks,
I would
so
die, literally.
right. Right. So it's like, you're over here tired. I'm still in here getting it. So, for anybody that's starting out, I would say, hey, take your time. It's a hard switch if you've been eating terrible or just that's your habit. It is. I can understand that. But I would say is take your time, think about what you want out of your session. And if you want to train harder, you can start out by just drinking more water throughout the day. Yes, if you want to go eat your fast food, do that. But try to start out with more hydration and then see how you feel and say, hey, look, my hydration mixed with the fast food is not working. Let me cut out the fast food and start adding a different type of food. And that's basically it. And then from there, you just kind of grow, research, get in touch with your local a smoothie shop. There's a lot of health shops around that you could find. Research and just go in those places and say, hey, look, this is what I want to do. I'm this type of athlete. What can you do to help me? Because I want to be better athlete with a healthier longevity in my sport.
Totally, man. And that's the thing. It's like, everything you said is beautiful because it's like, realizing that it's just going to be better for you. It's just another way. And if your diet is not good, that's going to be low hanging fruit that you can really use to increase your training. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
for example, people might be doing all the right things as far as conditioning, maybe even sleep and other areas, maybe even hydration. But when it comes to food, they really struggle. So aiming at your weak links is going to be the quickest way to improve in that area. So yeah, that's awesome. Like what I'm also hearing too is like it helps fuel you better. And you're saying like for the session, but I think that like it has a cumulative effect as well, obviously. Like so it's not only eat this food for this session, it's eat this food so you can session and enjoy this sport longer and enjoy your body longer and in a better way. Like, we're all worried about getting old and all this stuff, right? But that comes with like that amount of life happens because of poor choices, poor nutrition, poor food. It happens quicker. So like
Right.
aging happens is gonna happen quicker and all that. So yeah, like yeah, guys, just get started.
Yes, let's
But
do this. Let's do
yeah,
this.
yeah, but I think it's really cool that you're able to give them the way to try it, like the tools to try it and stuff. And I know we had talked about it. I don't know if it's on the DL, but it will come out. We're gonna do a little cooking thing at some point, a little cooking
Yes,
show.
guys.
I can't
Yes.
wait. But just making it really easy for you guys to consume some of this stuff. Like maybe you can make a really nice meal that's really healthy with just 4 or 5 ingredients. Just get your feet wet, go to a local health shop like Sean's saying, and just be like, hey, what interests me, what smells good, what tastes good. Just ask them what tastes good, and just be like, yeah, I'm just trying to improve, and it's baby steps. It's real slow.
Yes.
It's real
Yes.
slow,
Yes. Yes.
but that's what we're here for. We're here for the long game.
Yes.
But yeah, so back to I kind of want to. I mean, you kind of touched on how you feel with food and nutrition, but is there any way, or is there any period of time where you weren't eating as well, and how did that affect your training? Like any like hard
I'm
periods of
glad you
time?
asked that question
Yeah,
because I honestly right now I'm in a current state where I don't feel like I've been eating proper,
yeah,
and it's due to like I said, the lifestyle that I'm in. I'm in the military, and it's early hours. Sometimes it could be late nights. I have a family as well, so it's hard to balance now more than ever my nutrition.
yeah,
Yes, I do have my occasional Wendy's. I love their chicken sandwiches.
yeah,
I love to have that type of stuff. And I'm not saying that stuff is totally bad for you. It's really a case of everything in moderation. That's always kind of been how I look at food. And then two, being me as a chef, I'm constantly trying a lot of food. Just because, if I have a certain food on the menu, for example, there was a time where I didn't eat pork. As a chef, I am going to be trying this food before it goes out. So I'm constantly trying different stuff down my face. And it does kind of make me feel sluggish. Yes, there are moments where we're, as human beings, that we have our vices, right? We all have our food vices. And one of my food vices is sweets. I love your sticky buns. I love your cake. I love your chocolates. I love all that stuff. All that stuff is good, but like I said, in moderation. So you got to realize, when it comes to a point in your training or your life, you're gonna have your phases. Yes, there's times where I'm ready to train for an event, for Army physical fitness test, or just like a tricking event, and I am to the T with my diet. I'm doing the proper precautions that I need to take to prepare myself. And there's times like now when I'm kind of in the off season, due to COVID too, I'm inside a lot, so I'm not training as much. I'm
hmm
snacking on the stuff in the cabinet. Yes, it is. It's a true fact of life, and I think some of us can attest to this. And I wanted to say to all you guys that it's okay. We're not in the best of times. We're not always out in the community doing a lot of stuff for some of us. And it's okay. So, if you realize that, that's what's important. Now, the next step from there is to say, hey, what am I going to do to get myself back on track? What am I going to do to get my health back on track? And if you have that idea in your mind, that is the best thing that you can do for yourself. So for me, what I started doing was I started cutting out sweets, maybe like 2, 3 times a week. And if I can't get outside, I try to exercise inside. I have a pull-up bar, push-ups and sit-ups, basic stuff like that. Can allow you to refabricate your routine and your body. So
yeah, man. I completely agree. Like the I think there's 3 steps to like changing a habit or to really accomplishing any goal. And number one, knowledge of what you have to do. So some people might not have that, right? Some people might
right,
want to eat better, but they might not know how, right? And that's kind of
right,
what we're talking about here, ways to do that. Then it's application of that knowledge. So you actually have to do it. You have to, as slowly or as quickly as possible, or whatever is going to serve you best. You have to start applying that knowledge. And then third, you have to understand you're human, which is what you were just saying as well. Like it's okay. A lot of people, I think, end up in this cycle where they're like, oh man, I'm in this, I'm not doing well, and then they kind of just keep going down and down versus just being like, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm human. I like this, it's cool, but I have to I have to pick and choose. I have to be like, do I like my training more? Do I like my performance more? Do I like how I feel more when I'm not eating X, Y, or Z? And then it's about also that moderation, that like, since we're human, we have to do things that we like to feed our dopamine in our brain and be like, hey, like this is nice, but to
Right.
moderation. And like, I
Right.
mean, that's how it goes. Like, we're human, and I think over time we progress in that way where the habits aren't as difficult because we realize the benefits of them. Like for me, it's really easy now for me to eat pretty healthy because if I don't by now, because I've been doing it for I don't even know how long, like at least a decade, like if I don't do that now, I feel terrible, and then I can't
Right.
do what I like to do, and
Right.
and it almost becomes not worth the short term of like, oh wow, this tastes great. And there are certain foods I can tolerate better than others, but like milk, nope.
Yeah. No,
Sugar, like
same here.
a lot of sugar, I feel crazy. Like so yeah, you just got to know yourself, and I think that comes with like listening to your body. Like, do you feel that like you have a sense of what your body needs as far as like nutrition and stuff? Like, do you ever feel like certain days you're like, dang, I really need some fruits, or other days I'm like, I really need some vegetables, or protein or whatever? Are you feeling what kinds of foods you need, or do you just go based off of like your knowledge?
Absolutely. No, I definitely think, I can't, I wish I could remember the name of the book that I was just reading, but a lot of what you eat is a physiological thing. And a lot of people don't think about the gut, right?
Mm,
The gut is like the central nervous system of how your food is processed and everything. So basically, like I noticed that, for example, like the other day I was at work and I was like, man, I haven't ate all day and I've just been working. So when I realized that, I was like, all right, if I'm feeling like kind of tired, I know that, all right, in the back of my mind, in my knowledge base, I know that acidic fruits help me to get energized. So I'll just go eat some oranges, some blueberries, some pineapples to kind of boost myself up. And that's how I realized, yes, it is important to know what foods to eat if you're feeling a certain way, because that'll get you out of a certain mood. So you know, doing stuff like that, yes, I do realize that I gotta have to pay attention to what my mind is saying, because it's true. The food, you are what you eat. Basically, it goes back to that old adage: you are what you eat. If you're constantly eating pork or sugary food, you're gonna be looking like a pig. What I'm saying? Versus if you eat those nice dark green vegetables and all the and hydrate, you're gonna look like a
like
stud. You're
Piccolo.
gonna be
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, hey, it is what it is. So you have to pay attention. Don't allow yourself to say, oh, I'm feeling this way, but let me just go ahead and eat a honey bun in the meantime, or let me go eat this in the meantime because I can't. No, if your body's saying it needs something, you need to give your body what it's asking for,
And
because it
that.
sends out those physiological
Mhm.
signals to your body saying, yes, this is what I need. So
Yeah, and like that's the crazy thing, right? Like when we get down, like mood wise or anything, we tend to eat worse things that make us feel worse, and it's just a vicious cycle. And then that's how we have our epidemic of obesity, overweight, and a lot of times people will also just look at those as factors of health. But there are
right,
tons of people that look great or whatever, or look fine, and they're not fine on the inside because of what they're putting into their body.
right,
I don't want to make anyone squeamish or anything, but in physical therapy school, I did cadaver labs. And there were like, I don't know, in this room, there were like maybe 25, 30 bodies in this room, preserved. And I thank those people very much because, it helps people in the medical community learn. And it's
right,
really, great experience. But what I saw a lot of times was like how people's lifestyles affected their bodies on the inside, because we rarely see that. So the person that was on my table happened to look fairly normal, and he was pretty old actually as well. So I thought he looked fine for his age. Just normal.
right.
But on the inside, I was blown away. I couldn't believe that like that was a really big learning experience for me, and that like solidified even more so the importance of what you put into your body, because you don't have to be, you know, a doctor or anything to realize what was happening with him. You know, all of his
Right.
arteries, you could literally see the arteries clogged. You could see the calcium deposits like very easily. You know that these vessels shouldn't feel like bone. They literally felt like
Right.
bone, and that's cholesterol buildup. That's all that stuff.
Right.
His chest, where his sternum was, all wired up, open heart surgery. You know, there was just his organs were just covered in fat, whereas other bodies were not, even though he looked normal on the outside. And that's something that, you know, I'm lucky to have that experience, but that's something that people don't really think about.
Right.
And that was crazy to me. Like I was just blown away. Like because you see people, you know, like oh, like you think you could just tell how they are by like by what they do, but or by how they look, but it's really by what they do and by their actions. And
Right.
you know, I think over time we can build ourselves into the way that would support what we want to do, and that's what this is all about.
Right.
Like I had a question for you as far as do you think it's important necessarily to cook for yourself, like as far as like for health, or do you think that it's okay to just kind of like find a nice health shop and just eat from there? For example, like pre-made food, like a restaurant or whatever. If somebody had the means to just eat healthy but not have to cook for themselves as they really hate cooking, like what do you think the role is, cooking versus not cooking, like regardless of the nutrition in the food?
Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna turn on the light real quick.
No worries.
Um, Absolutely no. I think cooking, man, I love cooking. All right.
Yeah.
Cooking is a way of expression. It is a way to say, hey, look, I can manipulate food and make this. It's an art form, and also it's a way to say, hey, look, I can put all these ingredients together and give myself sustenance to where it's nutritionally sound. So yes, I want to say yes to cooking. But then again, you know, sometimes we don't always have the time. So what do? We go out to eat, right? Um, and I'm not saying that's bad, but if you do that more than anything, that's not good. Um, then there are places that do have, like you said, these health shops that you can order a week's worth of meals, and that is perfect too, because you can trust those facilities, those businesses, because they are actually giving you a meal kit that is tailored to you personally. But if you have the time to cook, then I would say cook, you know. And cooking for yourself is almost, for me, when I started, was therapy, honestly. When I had got done with college, you know, I was at a low point, and I was like, hey, man, it's something clicked in my mind. I'm like, you know what? Cooking is where I wanted to be, because it became a therapy to, and then it became my passion. Therefore, it became my job. And, you know, literally, I could say cooking saved my life, in a sense, because it allowed me to better myself as a person. And then too, cooking, you know, not only for yourself, but you know, if you cook for other people, it gives you a sense of belonging. And that's what cooking is for me. It allows me to connect with people. And then from there, you share ideas, you share culture. And that's what I want to do with Eat Sleep Trick, is to be able to share my experiences, allow other people to share what they do, with wherever they come from in their part of their lives. And I always accept people for what they bring. Even being a professional, you know, yes, I can cook these fine dining plates, but also I can sit down at anybody's table and enjoy a good meal, just because of the fact that, hey, they put the hard-earned work into cooking a delicious food that they feel is good for them. Well, hey, it's good for me too. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's
So
awesome.
I appreciate people who cook. It's a good thing for yourself.
I can't wait to cook for you. And then you can tell me,
Yes,
as a
sir.
Pentagon chef, how'd I do? But no, I feel you, man. I
I'm
feel
not,
you.
I'm not like Gordon Ramsay. I'm not going to be critical. I'm not like
Honestly, that would be hilarious. We should do that.
that.
We should make our cooking show like where you're Gordon. I'm just trying to like
Get
keep
this
up.
trash. Get it
Yeah.
out of
That,
here.
that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you just like so I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to hear more about Eat Sleep Trick. Just I know you touched on it a little bit, but for the audience who doesn't know, Sean Lang runs an Eat Sleep Trick It's a brand focused on what you just said, which is just, you know, sharing the culture of food through in the tricking community and everything. Just where do you see that going? What do you guys do? Like, what's the future for Eat Sleep Trick?
Right. So Eat Sleep Trick started out in 2014, 2015. This is honestly where I think where I was at the peak of my tricking. Like I said, my diet was crazy. My physical fitness was on par, and it kind of got coined by Tony Surfman actually.
Mm.
Well, he kind of helped me. I think I was doing like a video. I think it was a 360 tutorial. That's what it was. And I said, eat good, sleep good, train hard. And from there, I was like, that is the lifestyle that I want to live. Eating good, sleeping well, training, tricking hard. And then from there, I just wanted to push out to the community saying that, yes, you can eat performance-based foods and trick well along with a good lifestyle. Why not? So
And it could taste good.
yes, and it can taste good. Exactly. So from there, it was kind of short lived because I think after that, I literally joined the army. And then from there, I kind of just, it was just kind of like I didn't really do much with it. I did some stuff. But basically, the Eat Sleep Trick movement is basically just kind of like a way for the community to come together. We can talk about food. It doesn't always necessarily have to be nutritional. It could be like what kind of favorite food are you eating right now? What's your favorite restaurant? What foods are good for you? What foods are bad for you? What foods are great for an athlete? Those are some of the stuff that I wanted to discuss within the community. And then also too, you have your tricking aspect. What does food play as a functional aspect for tricking?
Mm-hmm.
And then also the overall wellness of food for the human body. So that's kind of what I've wanted to do. It's been tough for me because, like I said, the military does take a lot of time. I also do have a family, but I do have everybody in my hearts. I do mean well. So I want to try to get that back up and running to where it could be something like on a weekly or monthly basis. I can put out an episode and we can talk. And listen to the viewers. If you have something for me that you would like to talk on, or for me to talk on whatever platform, Facebook, Instagram, video chat, I am all ears. I'm always willing to play a part in the betterment of the tricking community.
Dude, that is so awesome, man. This is not the end, but just with somebody who's hearing that, you know, might not make it to the end. Fool. Could you just give us your Instagram or whatever so that they can contact you if they're
Yeah,
interested?
so you can find me at Eat Sleep Trick on Instagram. You can always message me there. Also, you can find me on my personal Instagram at Original Soulflow Gangsta with an A at the end, Gangsta. You can find me there as well. Like I said, I am a very open person. I'm not as active with the community as far as like going to events and stuff like that, but I pretty much do actively talk to a lot of trickers on the net. I do follow a lot of people. So, and then also too, I don't train as often, but I do train mentally, and that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. Is just because sometimes we have moments in life where we don't physically train doesn't mean that you're not training up here. Um, but yeah, so you guys can find me in any of those platforms. You can ask me any questions regarding any cooking, any nutritional advice. I'm still a student to the game, and I will always say that because if you always think you know everything, then you don't know nothing. So I'm always learning. I want all you guys to learn as well too, and try to improve yourself daily. So, but yes, you can find me on Eat Sleep Trick on Instagram, also on Original Soulflow Gangster on Instagram as well.
Nice. Love it, man. Love it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with everything you just said. So I just wanted to get into it, into your own training, like, you know, outside of the food and nutrition topic. Just curious because if you guys haven't seen this dude, he is insanely fit and powerful with his tricks. So I would like to know like what you do on a routine basis, what you're doing currently, what you've done at your like what you call your peak, what are your plans getting back to that? I just want to hear how your training's going. Like just a few little tips maybe that people who are either just starting out in this performance side of things, like what could you give them as far as that?
So I'll start with people who are just starting out, who may not have any background in like martial arts, gymnastics, or dance. You don't necessarily even need a gym membership. I'm actually following this body workout plan, and I did that for about a month, and I got goosebumps right now. My physical fitness shot through the roof, probably better than it has ever been. Just doing a body workout plan. Now
You
this
need
body
those
workout,
secrets.
yes, this body workout plan is actually a body workout plan from Special Forces Operation Delta Attachment, which is like the best of the best in the military, high speed. But what my plan is to kind of use that program and cater it to trickers. So I'm actually in the process of doing that. Been doing that for a while. And then if you just already been working out and stuff like that, I would say continue what you're doing. Of course, TrickStrong. Hey, you can't go wrong with TrickStrong. Neil has all the tricks and tools. But for me though, I've done a lot of weightlifting. Weightlifting and strength and conditioning is probably one of the most foundational parts of my training, whether in army fitness or tricking. Just because that weight training allows you to keep a strong base, and tricking is a lot of legs. And I know for me specifically, Olympic style lifting has helped me to be explosive, and just to have the power that I've had. And me doing that, I've learned that from college. I did a lot in college. So I just took that with me throughout the years, and I've just kind of kept up that regimen. So, like I said, if you've been training, keep doing what you're doing. Functional fitness is very important. And I always try to tell guys, when you go to the weight room, don't just try to put up heavy weights unless that's what you do and you're bodybuilding and you're a tricker, cool. But do workouts that are functional for tricking. And I know a lot of you guys, or many of you guys can say that by looking at TrickStrongs and what they've been putting out. Functional fitness is super important to me, especially now at the age I'm in. I'm in my 30s, and I can't just be putting up any type of weight and thinking I can just go out there and flip around. That's not the answer for me anymore.
Yeah.
It's more about functionality, because you want the longevity in your athletic career. Some of us can attest to tricking better in our youth, and that's fine. But if you want longevity, functional fitness is the way to go. If you want to trick into your 40s, functional fitness is the way to go. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Do you see that as reality? I wanted to say possibility, but I know your answer already. You see yourself tricking at 40 plus?
Definitely.
Yes.
All the way.
Same. There's no
You
doubt.
know,
Same year you were born, right? You were born 90?
yep.
When's your birthday? Just curious.
July.
Whoa. We talked about this, I think. July when?
July 20th, 1990.
20th.
Yes, sir.
You're 11 days older than me.
Hey.
And we're both Haitian too. Sac passe.
That's good. Let's go.
No, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Like, what exercises do you find most beneficial to tricking? Like, what are the exercises that you think have given you, for example, really powerful gainer switches, or just explosiveness, or that extension that you have? Like what are the few, let's just say like 3 to 5, just exercise that you think are super important for people to do?
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to remember it in order.
Oh, yeah, that's all good.
Off the top of my head. But for me, it's basically all body workout. So what I'll do is I'll do an iteration of squats, the standalone squats. And then I'll do lunges, stepping out, alternating each leg. And then I'll do jump squats. That helps for explosion. Then I'll do jump lunges. And I've done that literally like all my tricking career. And that's the reason why I've been able to just be able to pop off. And honestly, I can tell people right now, like, I don't literally have to train gainer switches, because of the muscle memory from doing the jump squats and stuff. My body's used to that impact. So for me, those are probably some of the best leg exercises that you can do. So I would say that iteration, do like 3 sets of 12 with 30 seconds in between, and watch your improvement in your athletic ability. So yeah, those are like my favorite all
That's all.
time.
That's what I've always loved about your training too. It's like all body weight, and it's all very simple. It's
Yeah,
not like, as intricate as it can get, and I know how intricate it can get because that's the career path I've chosen. But like, it doesn't have to be that crazy to get some results. Like,
right, right.
you can just start with no equipment. You can just start with doing that routine. It's almost like a one punch man routine of tricking, where you just do a few jump squats, do like body weight stuff, and you can really start to improve. And like, that's something that a lot of people are like, dang, I want to improve my performance, I want to improve my athleticism and all that stuff. First, I have to get a gym membership. And for some people, just even financially, especially in the times we're in right now, it's like that's going to be a deterrent, or even time constraints, or whatever, logistics in general in their lives. It's like, oh, so now I have to do all these things before I can even start. It doesn't have to be
Right,
that way. You can have a 3 by 3 room and just jump up and have enough room
exactly.
to start
Exactly.
improving your performance. And I think I'm a big believer in removing the elements of complexity from the tricks so that you can focus on the other parts of the trick, like the performance. So how much of a drill is it to just do a jump squat or a tuck jump squat for a backflip? You're just removing
Right,
the complexity of the flip, so that way you can focus on getting maximum height and strengthening your muscles, like,
right.
and neurological system, and all the other things involved with that, the coordination, etc. And like, so it's a no-brainer to just do things that look like tricks to improve your tricks.
Exactly.
That being said, we're also going to have imbalances, etc. So that's a whole, another thing. But as far as just improving the performance, I mean, it can really be done with a lot of what you just said. And like, what you learn from the jump squats and things is how to absorb landings well, versus learning how to do that when you're chucking a new trick and trying to
Right.
also learn how to land. If you already have the foundation of how to land, with many years of training of jump squats, of landing in different types of positions, then you're going to be that much more prepared if something doesn't go exactly as planned. And like, that's
Right.
what we're trying to bring with this whole thing, with TrickStrongRx, with TrickStrong, with everything, Eat Sleep Trick. It's just like, let's create an environment in which we can excel, not only in what we do but in life. Like, that's what I'm trying to do.
Right.
And
Yes.
like, let's get it. We
Yes.
have the
Let's go.
technology.
Let's go. And I also wanted to add too, with the body weight exercise, and I stand true to this, and some people may disagree, but if you can't do it on grass, then you don't really have it at all.
Mm,
Honestly, that's my opinion. And I say that because training on grass actually allows your foot muscles to react a certain way. Whereas when you train, I noticed that when I was training on spring floor a lot, I couldn't plant my foot properly because I was given too much bounce or too much extra. I can't think of the terminology for it, but it was given too much. And
yeah.
so I noticed that actually training on grass allowed me to actually execute properly. I know that if I do a trick, I have to land this way, because if not, then I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah.
So stay true to the grass tricks, stay true to the
Nice.
grass training.
That's an old school tricker
Any
talking.
yeah, you
But
know
it's
what
not
I'm
it's not
saying?
like, it's definitely good advice. I'm just saying.
Like that's how I got better. I remember in 2012, I was throwing snappers on grass. I knew that if I got it on grass, I could do it anywhere.
For sure, yeah.
Versus some people, some trickers, they start out in the gym, and that's just all they know, and their legs, their body don't acclimate properly to landing and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So then when they do go to a different surface, it's hard because
Yeah.
they didn't strengthen up the body properly. And then too, if you live in like a coastal area, anywhere near the beach, I know in SoFlo a lot. I used to run on the beach a lot. Running or just even walking helped to bring strengthen up the muscles in my calves and my legs, which
Yeah.
gave me a lot of power for my gainer switches. So I'd go on the beach and just go walk around on the sand. and then go and train in the grass. Training on a natural surface, I think, is the best way to go for a beginner because it teaches your body, proper mechanics. So
Totally. Yeah, you can't just like there are very valuable tools to, learn the trick like trampoline, like spring floor and everything like that, but I think that
right,
for sure, there's a place for doing it on other surfaces because even just from a not only from the strength and stuff, but from a motor learning standpoint, from a neurological standpoint, the more variables you have in what you do movement wise, the better you're going to be at it. Like look
right,
at the best trickers, look at the best movers, right, in the world, but we know about trickers. Look at like they
mm,
can do things on any surface. Like you
right,
saw the Bourbon Street session at NOLA Gathering, like
yeah,
double
yeah,
backs, triple corks, dubs on concrete, and that's because of the deep understanding of mechanics and of different surfaces and of how your body moves and how to accommodate and how to change. Like those things are going to be learned on different surfaces. So if you always train in the same gym, in the same location, the same environment, with the same music playing, the same people around, and then you go to a gathering and then you wonder why it's not working, that could be part of it, just not having that
right.
experience in other environments. Like totally. Like
Now, and I wanted to caveat off of that too. And because I always feel like sometimes in our tricking career, I know I experienced this too, that like just what you said, if you're always doing the same thing, you're not gonna get any progression or level up. If you're unhappy with where you are in your tricking community, it's okay to leave where you're at and go to a different tricking community or go train on your own. Because at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you, and you got to do what makes you happy. So I just wanted to add that too, because a lot of times we think that, all right, this is it, this tricking community is it, or me training at the gym, this is the only way I'm going to level up, or me just going to the championships. No, the best athletes, like you think about like mixed martial arts, they're not just good at one thing. They do different things. They go to different areas. They train different things. So the same thing with tricking applies. Look at some of the best athletes. They're not just spinning, they're kicking, they're doing breakdancing. Tricking is so infinite now. You can't just focus solely on one thing. You have to be able to branch out to allow yourself to grow. So
and that will help you at what you're best at too. Like
yes,
I'm a big believer in like basic movement, obviously, is going to help every type of movement, If you
yep,
work on kicks, it's going to help on your twists, it's going to help with your flips. And that's not only from a strengthening standpoint, again, that's from coordination, neurological standpoint, from just knowing how to move your body, from the mobility that you're going to get in every joint, all that other stuff. Like it's all going to bleed in and help you become better. Does that mean
exactly.
that like you're gonna, just train biking for a year? Like, there's specificity. We have to also train the tricks. And I think that's the most important part. But I think that like people leave out the other stuff we've been talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man. Did you have anything else that you would like to give the viewers as far as like your mindset or your methodology to training, or whether it's nutrition, physical performance, sleep maybe, or anything like that before we kind of close it out today?
Yeah, sure. Just be kind to yourself. We put a lot of physical demand on our bodies. I know I felt it throughout the years. I know pretty much all of us have had some type of injury. Just be cognizant. Always think good thoughts, have good energy, be positive. Um, be there for your fellow tricker if they're down and out, because this community for me has pretty much been my saving grace for the past decade. I haven't been in actively, like I said, in the chicken community, but I love it so much that I can't give it up. You know what I'm saying? So the chicken community has shown me just unsurmounts of love and just meeting new people and whatever it is you're going through right now, whether it's positivity or negativity, keep your head up. Especially with COVID right now, keep your head up, keep pushing, and things will get better. And keep tricking, don't stop. Whether you are in a state of where you're not as in your prime or you're not doing the best tricks you used to do, that doesn't matter. It's about just getting out there and enjoying love for the tricking. So keep tricking.
It's beautiful, brother.
Yes, sir.
And you know, he's been saying like he's on the community and all that. Like it's, you know, it doesn't take weight from what he said, but I just saw him at Euphoria like a month ago. So like he's going to gatherings, he's doing 10 switches whenever he wants. Man,
Yeah.
and you're gonna come here in like a month or two. We're gonna have a good time, and
Yeah.
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 So you're still in the community, and that's what's great, right? Like it doesn't have to be to the same degree that like whatever you call your peak. You don't have to decide that that's it. You know, it can always just be like it can be what you want it to be, and it might take work, but
Right.
you know, I mean, we always have those periods of ups and downs and everything, and I think that's normal. Like you said with the food, it's like we have the ups and downs. Like maybe one day I feel like having, you know, Chick-fil-A or something, or you know, like or Wendy's. I didn't even know what Chick-fil-A was before I came to Atlanta, so I have to say something more popular, I guess. But but yeah, but yeah, you know, like I mean, it's just ups and downs. We just got to understand we're human and do the best we can, and have the knowledge to do the best we can. So, where can
Yeah.
people find you? I know we said that earlier, but just you know, people here now again, just to remind you guys where you can find this guy, Sean Lang, with the valuable information that we've been talking about today.
I did before I say that, I did want to give a shout out to one of my good friends for the past decade. He's on the same tip with me. He's been helping me out with some eat sleep trick stuff. So his name is Anthony. You can find his Instagram at Anthony Trickset. That's his Instagram tag. A really good
Nice.
guy. He believes in the same stuff that we all kind of believe in with nutrition and physical fitness. But you can find me at Eat Sleep Trick on Instagram. You can also find me on my personal page, Original SoFlo Gangsta with an A, Gangsta. All right. You guys are more than welcome to hit me up for anything, food advice, nutritional advice. I'm always open ears and willing to help.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, brother, for your time and energy and beautiful words, man. Until next time, and I cannot wait to hang out in person again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Later.
Peace.